Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to say thank you for your continued support. For those who are watching us for the first time, allow me to request you to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell. Let me tell you, if there is one support that you can render to this channel is by subscribing and clicking that notification bell, so that whenever we do a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. You can also like our videos and share them. Now, for those who are asking for the M-Pesa number, if you want fathers to support us further, kindly do it on the numbers below. If there is a government that will never cease to amaze me, is the Ruto's administration, because it is full of drama, and sometimes I feel that it lacks direction. Today you hear something that is unique. The following day you even find it more ludicrous and ridiculous. It is full of men and women who are drunk with power. When you listen to people like Kimani Chungwa, the majority leader, people like Ndindi Njoro and even Samson Cheragai, our deputy president, and even the president himself, you realize that we have people who feel that they are the first people to occupy power. They don't understand that power is transient. Today you have it, tomorrow it is gone. They are full of mischief, they are full of revenge, they are out there to prove to the people of Kenya that they are in power. The last time I checked, the best way to prove that you are in power is by rendering true services to the people of Kenya. But they seem to lack this. Today, the CS in the Ministry of Health did something that is the talk of the day. She was attending a burial ceremony of a certain Bonza who was killed in the last week's altercation, demonstrations between the government and the opposition. Of course, our condolences to this young Kenyan who died in the process in Trans Nzoia. While speaking, Nakhumicha, who is the CS in the Ministry of Health, did some order or made some order there and transferred an OCS whom she feels slept on the job. Many have been asking, really, don't we have specific responsibilities for specific people in different government locations or government departments? This is what Nakhumicha said. It's reported that Health CS Nakhumicha orders transfer of police boss. And it reads that Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha has ordered the transfer of Matisi OCS John Thuo following violent clashes between two groups during anti-government protest organized by Azimio. During the burial of popular Bonza, who lost his life in the incident, Nakhumicha claimed that she has the powers to affect the change owing to President William Ruto's one government approach. Let's just quote what Nakhumicha said. We don't require Interior CS Kithure Kindiki to be here so that an OCS can be transferred. I am in Ruto's government and I stand here as his representative. So I order that the county commandant to listen, and if he is not here, let the information reach him. I have said that in 24 hours, the OCS needs to have been transferred. Those were her own words. She decreed, and she only gave the county commandant 24 hours so that the OCS can be transferred in what she thinks this OCS never did his work. Now, you see her saying that under Ruto's approach, in what she calls one government approach, she says that she does not need the prerogative of the minister of the CS in that particular docket, that is Kithure Kindiki. And one wonders what is happening, because what Nakhumicha is doing is tantamount to intimidation. Let me tell you, even if we have a police officer who is on the run, I don't think you can come in public and give orders for the officer to be transferred. There are channels to be followed. And this is one thing that I've seen with this government. We are going back to roadside declarations, something that we only saw in the Nyayo era, where appointments and relieving people of their jobs were done by roadside declarations. I understand that during the Moi era, most ministers used to work under the tune on KBC, because you could be sacked by midday, and police and security officers are waiting for you. If you are on your way en route to Kisumu, there are people waiting for you. The declaration is made and you are stopped. Then all the symbols of power are taken, the vehicle, the flag, and everything. So when we see Nakhumicha giving such decree and declarations in a funeral, then it takes us back to the Nyayo era. William Ruto is a good student of the late President William Moi, and is trying to implement everything that Moi used to do. We cannot intimidate our officers. I repeat, there are channels to be followed. I see a government official drunk with power, someone who feels that she can wake up and make such declarations. I know that some of our officers really never behaved well during the demonstrations, but two wrongs don't make a right. And so I think Susan Nakhumicha is out of order and she must be called to order. I also want to really say that this is usurping powers that don't belong to him. You know, the powers to effect such changes in the police department are vested on the CS in that ministry, interior ministry, Kithure Kindiki. And when I see a cabinet secretary in the Ministry of Health, really, these ministries are not even related in any way. If it was perhaps Aden Duale in the Ministry of Defense, you would say that there is a little connection. But even with that, Duale is not supposed to interfere with the affairs in someone's docket. Because what Nakhumicha is telling us, in a sense, is that today, Murkomen can order the transfer of any doctor, because they are working in what she calls, in Ruto's government, one approach, where any cabinet secretary can effect changes in a docket that does not belong to him or her. This is not the first time I see a kind of intimidation to Kithure Kindiki. In the recent past, I have seen people in Kenya Kwanza coming out diligently and claiming that Kithure Kindiki cannot manage that docket, and so there were even plans to swap him with Aden Duale. There was a time when there were pressure that there's someone needs to come who's courageous enough, someone who's got the audacity to apprehend Raila Odinga. And they said that Kithure Kindiki somehow did not have the guts to, arrest. And that is why later Kithure Kindiki started talking tough, and you saw the abduction of Azimio leaders everywhere and killings everywhere, because Kithure, I think, needed to rise up to show that he was equal to the task. They had intimidated him. I have also seen Kithure Kindiki making certain declarations sometimes that people have the right to demonstrate and to picket. Then, before you know it, the Nairobi commandant, Adamson Bungei, reads another message, another order that the Azimio protests have been outlawed. I think someone deliberately is doing this. There is lack of order, because you cannot tell me that any government CS or minister can make declarations that are concerned or within another person's decade. This will be confusion, because what happens tomorrow, someone will wake up and says that I am ordering the transfer of maybe a teacher, a principal in certain college, and he says I've given you 24 hours without contacting Mr. Macho, who is the CS. And if we allow this kind of confusion, I mean, Kenya will head nowhere. But again, this government is confused, if you ask me. The powers to transfer or to affect changes belongs to the National Police Service Commission. You know, it really behoves one to ask what is happening, because there has been a lot of altercation between the Kenya Police and the Kenya Police Service Commission, and it even reached the table of the Parliamentary Committee on Security, where the IG affected some changes and promotions within the National Police Service, and it was clear that he usurped powers that belong to the Kenya National Police Service Commission, which has been mandated to look into such areas. We have a government that, I mean, wants to work haphazardly without any decorum. Someone was telling me that even the manner in which they came to power was lacked decorum, and so we don't expect any decorum in it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to go back to the Nyayo era. We need discipline in this government, and we want order and sanity. I think Nakhumicha should be called to order. We don't need to intimidate our policemen. There are better mechanisms. If there is a mistake, or a police officer has done something that is suspected to be culpable, there are internal mechanisms to be utilized. I don't know what to think, but this is my take.